Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing as part of awareness and campaigns. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, on 7th July, we are celebrating World Kishwali Language Day, celebrating a language of unity, identity, and global impact. Language is the backbone of culture, unity, and development. World Kishwali Language Day, celebrated on 7th July each year, honors Kishwali as one of the most widely spoken languages in Africa and the world. With over 200 million speakers, it is a vital tool of communication and integration across East, Central, and Southern Africa, and serves as an official language of the African Union, SADC, and the EAC. Kishwali is more than a language, it is a vessel of African identity, unity, and culture. From its role in liberation movements, including those led by Walmu, Julius Nyerere, to its modern use in education, diplomacy, and media, Kishwali continues to foster regional cohesion and global cultural understanding. So, recognized by UNESCO as the first African language to be honored with its own International Day, Kishwali embodies the power of multilingualism to promote diversity, tolerance, and sustainable development. As a bridge between communities and civilizations, it plays a critical role in quality education, cultural preservation, and socio-economic progress. More than just a means of communication, Kishwali is a carrier of identity, values, and a worldview, representing the rich culture tapestry of the African continent. In acknowledgement of its growing global significance, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 78 by 312, further affirming the importance of Kishwali in fostering solidarity, peace, and Pan-African unity. Kishwali is the most widely spoken language in sub-Saharan Africa and serves as a lingua franca in over 14 African countries. The United Nations Department of Global Communications has a Kishwali UN news operation. Words like Harambe, pulling together, and Uhuru, freedom, reflect Kishwali's deep roots in community and unity. Kishwali was originally written in Arabic script before the Latin alphabet became standard. Kishwali has a long logical and phonetic structure, making it one of the easiest African languages to learn for the beginners. Swahili has a rich and complex history shaped by various cultures and languages. Over the centuries, its origins are debated with two main theories about its development. One theory suggests that Swahili is primarily a Bantu language that emerged along the East African coast between 100 and 500 CE. It evolved as a lingua franca, helping the Bantu speaking communities communicate with traders from Arabia and Asia. Swahili gradually became a vital language for trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The second theory points to the influence of Arabic on the development of Swahili. The term Swahili is derived from the Arabic word Swahili, meaning of the coast, which reflects the region's extensive trade and cultural ties with Arab traders. Over time, Arabic vocabulary, grammar, and writing systems influenced Swahili, particularly in coastal regions. This connection helped the language flourish as both a spoken and written medium in East Africa, further enhancing its role in local and international communication. According to UNESCO, there are approximately 8,324 known languages globally, but only around 7,000 are still in use today. Alarmingly, a language disappears every 2 weeks, often without leaving a trace in education systems, digital platforms, or public discourse. When a language vanishes, we lose unique perceptions, traditional knowledge systems, and creative expressions shaped over generations. Kishwali is with its rich linguistic history and multicultural evolution is a critical piece of its puzzle. By preserving and promoting Kishwali, we ensure that survival of one of the most widely spoken African languages that also acts as a bridge between diverse communities. Today, we are also commemorating Today, we are also commemorating Cultural Communities Week from July 7 to 14, Philippines. This week, Cultural Communities Week has been designated the second week of July as per Proclamation number 250, S 1988 in the Philippines. This year, it is held from July 7 to 14. This week raises awareness about the indigenous tribes and honors their contribution and relevance to national unity and progress. It also emphasizes the need of preserving their rich cultural legacy, not just for Philippines, but for the rest of the world too. Learning the importance of indigenous peoples. IPs is a key point in achieving unity and development. This also helps to promote and conserve the rich native cultural legacy, both locally and globally. Today is also commemorated as Great British Tea Week from 14 July 7th to 13th. It takes when you are a kid, your parents probably told you that you couldn't leave the table until you had eaten all the peas. They belong to Green Veggie Gang, which most kids love. However, we get older, we understand how great this substance is. We enjoy the small green vegetable. It aims to raise the knowledge and understanding of the pea's origins and heritage, offering British customers a reason to appreciate the little green nutritional miracles throughout the harvesting season. The pea is a little spherical seed pod or seed of the pod fruit, Rhizome sativum. Each pod contains several yellow or green peas. Pea pods are botanically classified as fruit since they contain seeds and emerge from the ovaries of a pea flower. Great Britain, Pea Week strives to raise awareness and understanding about the origin and provenance of peas, giving everyone a chance to appreciate the little green nutritional miracles, the pea vining business, and peace campaign organized by the celebration. Peas were originally produced primarily for their dried seeds. Theophrastus addresses this vegetable in the early 3rd century BC as one of the legumes that are sown later in winter. Due to their softness, peas are also mentioned in Columellus de Re Rustica from 1st century AD. Today is also commemorated as National Childhood Obesity Week from July 7th to 13th in UK, which is celebrated for a week from the first Monday in July to Sunday. This year it would be observed from July 7 to 30. Its purpose is to inform the public about the dangers of childhood obesity. It affects on a child and society's health and look for means to help fight the challenges. Patients and schools are primarily targeted for the campaign with helpful information to control what the children eat and their activities. This aims to draw out meal plans and exercise routines to help decrease childhood obesity. Obesity is a condition in which excess body fat has accumulated to such an extent that it may cause a negative effect on health. An individual is obese when their body mass index is over 30 kilograms per meter square. Out of 3 children in UK is obese. Unfortunately, this problem has existed for some time and continues to rise, hence the need to curb it. These children are at risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, and heart disease. This led to several interventions, including the National Obesity Forum, NOF, and MEND, which has launched the inaugural National Childhood Obesity Week in 2011. MEND stands for Mind, Exercise, Nutrition, and Do It. It is a community-based approach to tackling obesity that has proved to be very successful in helping children learn to live a healthier lifestyle. School nurses play an essential role in the program's success. The program campaign also aims at raising funds to support affected children, provide access to treatment facilities, and carry out research supporting the fight against the childhood obesity. It is an opportunity for public members, health organizations, and educational institutions to share helpful information in preventing and dealing with childhood obesity. Research shows that children who have a healthy weight tend to be fitter, healthier, more self confident, and are better able to learn. They are also less likely to have low self esteem and be bullied than their counterparts. Today is also commemorated as National Transplant Week from July 7 to 13th. In the UK, during the first full week of July to encourage people to register as organ donors, this year it is observed from July 7 to 13th. Organ donation is the removal of organs or tissues from a living or dead person and is placing them in another person. Organ transplant requires legal consent from donor while they are alive or consent from the next of kin when the donor is deceased. Kidneys, the heart, the liver, skin, the eyes, and the lungs are among the organs and tissues that can be donated. National Transplant Week is organized by the UK National Health Service, NHS. The first credible account of organ transplantation dates back to the 2nd century BC, when Sushruta, an Indian surgeon, used autografted skin transplantation in nose reconstruction. However, in the 19th century, the Italian surgeon Gasparo Chagliacozzi in the West, also known as the father of plastic surgery in the West, in modern 16th century or pre-modern 16th century, was an Italian surgeon who successfully reconstructed noses and ears using skin tissues from patients' arms in the 16th century. He was the first to propose transplant rejection centuries before scientists were aware of the concept in the West. This week is also commemorated as Nutri Creation Week from 7th to 13th. This week aims to celebrate life outside the limitations of clothing. While some of us might find it embarrassing or plain weird to go out in the public without clothes, there are thousands of nude enthusiasts who look forward a week of shedding their clothes and live more naturally. The week celebrates the human body in its most natural form and encourages us to let go of our inhibitions and misconceptions regarding nudity. So this week aims to raise awareness about naturism and clothing optional opportunities among the general public. But there are only designated spaces where you can go without clothing. Otherwise, it can be a nuisance for the public. So check your laws and the local rules and regulations before following this. So today is also commemorated as Caribbean Community Day on July 7th, also known as CARICOM Day, celebrated on July 7th this year. The Caribbean community, CARICOM, consists of 20 states throughout the Caribbean, of which 15 are member states and 5 associate members. Georgetown, Guyana is home to CARICOM Secretariat headquarters. The day was chosen to commemorate the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which established CARICOM on July 4, 1973. It is recognized as an official public day in Guyana, and the governments of Antigua and Barbuda have declared it a holiday as well. The day is celebrated with parades, pageants, and campaigns to educate people about CARICOM. Today is also commemorated as Global Forgiveness Day on July 7th. Each year, it is established to increase goodwill among people and asks everyone to try and set their differences aside and create a world full of healing and letting go of negativity. Forgiveness is the concept of pardoning someone after an offense or letting go of negative emotions and releasing the heart has always been a key principle of every religion around the globe. The teachings from these religions highlight the nature of forgiveness and has provided a basis for the modern traditions and practices used to forgive While philosophers also studied the concept of forgiveness, the emotion was primarily related to the matters of faith. It was only later in the 20th century that forgiveness caught science attention. Scientists, educators, and psychologists began studying forgiveness and its impact on human well being. What they found was the forgiveness was a process. Multiple researchers developed models of forgiveness, like step by step approaches that would allow people to improve their ability to forgive. Later, studies even attempted to understand the relationship between forgiveness and justice, particularly after particular incidents involving famous acts of forgiveness. Japanese fighter pilot Nobuo Fujita has bombed the west coast of the US over Oregon during World War II, which sparked great fires. The town of Brookings, Oregon was greatly affected by this. When Fujita visited the town in 1962, he asked for forgiveness and was granted it by the townspeople. Then, in the late 20th century, Pope John Paul II publicly forgave the men who tried to assassinate him and even visited him in prison during his sentence. So, in many religions, starting from Hinduism, which is the oldest religion, has advocated and promoted forgiveness. And even the modern so called religions also promote this kind of forgiveness. A psychiatry blog recommends that we should first acknowledge our feelings, then try to understand why the person acted the way they did, and finally try to forgive them for their action. So take a moment, think about someone you are angry at or those you cannot forgive. It might be even you. Then decide to let it go of the anger weighing you down and forgive, or at least take steps towards extending them your forgiveness. This doesn't mean your relationship has to continue. Sometimes forgiving is as simple as letting the person go. Try your best to start with a clean slate or whichever is best possible for both. Forgiveness is a good for soul, and let others see how freeing forgiving someone can be. Show everyone, especially children, that forgiveness is a quality to develop and hone in themselves and others. Your example of forgiveness can inspire others to do the same. So lead by example and teach forgiveness. The silver screen has been a great source of movies with redemption themes and forgiveness woven into the storyline. So take inspiration from this and set up a themed movie night that primes you to do the same. Forgive in real life. You can pick up from biographical sports drama, Invictus, the coming of age dramedy, Ladybird, or the 2004 South African drama, Forgiveness. Emotions can affect forgiveness. Brain scans show that the emotional centers of the brain light up when a person considers forgiving someone. Cats aren't the forgiving type. Scientists say while many animals, including bonobos, mountain gorillas, chimps, goats, and hyenas, are capable of forgiveness, cats do not exhibit any such behavior. Extroverts need more forgiving, not because they hurt people more, but because needing is just in their nature, more so than introverts. More forgiveness for Americans, please. A survey by the nonprofit Fredzer Institute showed that 65% of American adults said they needed more forgiveness in their personal lives because they do not follow these traditional principles and they don't have a culture where forgiveness is imbibed in them. They are very mean in their culture and lifestyle, so they don't have this kind of family structures, close knit family or social fabric structures. Because of that, they have a lot of these issues, and forgiveness is very important for them to be learned and practiced. A study by the University of Wisconsin showed that forgiving people suffered less than from certain illness. So keeping a grudge or remembering old hurts affects us more than the people we are angry at. Unresolved issues are a huge threat to health and can cause stress. The stress can lead to physical symptoms like anxiety, high blood pressure, and depression. Holding on to anger can lead to negative emotions and can cause problems with anger management and frustration. Letting go of old anger and emotions is like spring cleaning of the soul. We dust off the negative and make space for new and better emotions. We all for this brand new fresh start, whatever it may be about. Today is also commemorated as International Peace and Love Day on July 7th to spread positive energy across the world. Peace and love don't cost a thing, but their power goes far beyond anything words can capture. Different cultures have their concepts of peace. This philosophy of Ubuntu among the Zulu in Africa teaches that humanity is linked to the Japanese. Eva means aligning oneself to the common good. The spirit of Shalom among Hebrews translates to unity and prosperity. With a sense of wholesomeness arising from justice, most cultures seem to agree that the world needs more love and peace. Today is also commemorated as National Day of Rock and Roll in US. It is an unofficial National Day celebrated on July 7th by Americans. It's a day of champion, the pioneers that help change the norms and redirect the history of music. The genre reflected the joy of an emerging youth culture and inspired both black and white artists. Rock and roll music evolved from the beast and lines of about 6 other popular music genres. Its creation was one of the factors that shot a lot of American musicians to stardom. Join us as we give a salute to rock music. Today is also commemorated as Mother's Day in South Sudan, which is celebrated on first Monday in July each year. This year, the day falls on July 7th. As with all Mother's Day across the world, the day is dedicated to our mothers, the phenomenal women who has raised us. It gives us a chance to express our deep gratitude for the sacrifices they made for their children and to appreciate all they have done for us. A mother is the center of family and her children depend on her for guidance and care. Mother's Day reminds that it is in our best interest to give our mothers the respect and admiration they deserve. We want to go to a step further and buy a special gift. That may not be always in material form. It can be in the form of love, empathy, compassion, or even a gesture. Today is also commemorated as National Deck Day, which is celebrated on July 7th every year. It is a day to highlight the importance of decks as outdoor gathering and leisure spaces. The deck is an area for families to spend quality time together or for you to host parties. Don't let this day pass without doing a little something to show your appreciation. Today is also commemorated as National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day in US. Set a time with your father and head out for a walk. This walk can be taken during any time of the day and can be as short or as long as you want. The main purpose to ensure fathers and daughters get to spend some quality time together while practicing in a healthy activity. So stop being lazy and simply step out of the house. Trust us years down the line. It's these annual walks that you will cherish the most. And of course, positive memories are the best gift of a parent and child can give to each other. Today is also commemorated as National Koi Day, celebrated on 7th every year in US. It's a special day of the year that is dedicated to the Japanese koi fish. This day is held to fully devote attention and time to appreciate the beauty of koi fish, an outlandish species associated with many important and meaningful stories and traditions, which have long been celebrated by its native people. Anyone can join the celebration. It's a day of celebration for people who love fish and Japanese culture, scientists, researchers, or even just the curious ones. Koi, or more precisely, Nishiki Goi is a colorful variety of Amur carp which is bred in open water from koi or water gardens for decorative purposes. There are many varieties of ornamental koi which originated from the breeding that began in Niigata, Japan in the early 19th century. The Japanese recognized several species with differing colors, patterns, and scales. Some basic colors are white, black, red, orange, yellow, blue, brown, and green. Gosanke is the most popular category of koi. Carp are a large group of fish that can be found in Central Europe and Asia. Different types of carp were first domesticated in East Asia and were used as food. Carp are cold water fish, and their ability to survive and adapt to many climatic and aquatic conditions have allowed domesticated species to breed in many new locations, including Japan. Natural mutations in the color of these carp have occurred in all populations. In the text of Jin Dynasty, carp of different colors are mentioned. It was first bred for color mutation in China more than 1,000 years ago, where selective breeding of colored varieties led to the development of goldfish. Amur carp is representative of a complex of species of the carp family native to East Asia. Amur carp was previously identified as a subspecies of common carp, but has recently been considered a separate species called Cyprinus rubrofuscus. Since the 15th century BC, Chinese people have been eating Amur carp. Today is also commemorated as National Macaroni Day in US. Each year, the nation gets its fix of the beloved pasta, macaroni, as we celebrate National Macaroni Day on July 7th. The little elbow-shaped pasta is such a fan favorite that it gets its own day of celebration. As it should, apparently, macaroni is the most common form of pasta in the US. So on this day, let's all come together to show our love for the humble and versatile macaroni. So the origins of pasta and macaroni are not very clear. Records indicate pasta might have originated in China instead of in Italy, as is commonly believed. The word macaroni itself has had varied meanings to different people over time, and the International Pasta Organization traced the word to the Greeks who had established the colony of Neapolis, modern-day Naples. They had appropriated a local dish made from barley, flour pasta, and water called macaria. Cookbooks in the 14th or 15th century contained the initial mentions of macaroni-like dishes and how to make them, but those noodles were much longer than short elbow macaroni we now use. Recipes in later centuries scattered to the taste and palates of the regions they came from, and always slightly different variations of the macaroni we know today. Today is also commemorated as National Strawberry Sunday on July 7, 2025. On US, hot summer days call for a sweet, refreshing treat. National Strawberry Sunday is on July 7th, and there is no better way to escape the summer heat than with this delicious dessert. There are many US cities that still battle over carving steak as the birthplace of the Sunday in late 1880s. But one thing is for sure, the Sunday is an American favorite. Today is also commemorated as Saba Saba Day in Tanzania, which is commemorating the historic day as the date is significant in Tanzania history. For many years, Tanzania was ruled by European countries. It existed as two separate political entities after the Europeans left. Tanganyika and Zanzibar were united under the leadership of the Tanganyika African National Union, TANU, A political organization, Saba Saba Day, commemorates TANU's role in the formation and unification of Tanzania. The day is a national day and it will also coincide with the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, DITF. Today is also commemorated as Solomon Islands Independence Day on July 7th in Solomon Islands. It is an annual celebration to commemorate the independence of the country. In 1978, the Solomon Islands gained self-governance and became a sovereign country. It has Queen Elizabeth II as its constitutional monarch. Although ruled by the Queen, the nation is not under British rule. As Queen rules the island through a Governor General and with the Queen of Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands is one of the few countries with no armed forces. The country is mostly mountainous and covered in wild and tamed forest. However, the nation managed to tame freedom and we are celebrating it. Today is also commemorated as Star Festival in Japan. Star Festival or Tanabata is celebrated every year in Japan on July 7th. This day is a religious festival that celebrates the meeting of the deities Orihime and Hikoboshi. In Japanese, Tanabata means evening of the seventh, which is why the day is celebrated on the seventh day of seventh month of the year. The exact dates vary as residents follow the Gregorian and lunar calendars. The day is celebrated across Japan with people decorating their houses with bright lights and confetti to celebrate the meeting of two lovers. If you think about it, Star Festival is a festival that celebrates love. Done better? Today is also commemorated as Tell the Truth Day in US on July 7th. At some point, you probably told a lie, but hopefully it was just a white lie and with little consequence. Unfortunately, lying can lead to much more harmful outcomes when it becomes a personal trait. Truthfulness and honesty are the foundations of living with integrity. The battle between the lies and truth is present throughout human history. These two ideas have been at the center of everything, from the creation of countries to the development of complex philosophical debates. Staying on the topic of philosophy, the great Greek philosopher Plato in the West sought to find circumstances where lying would be justified, and Aristotle condemned all forms of lying. On the other hand, truthfulness is also an idea that is in the fiber of human history. For many philosophers, such as Kant and Schopenhauer, it is considered a complex subject that influenced by circumstances. At the end of the day, living with a sense of truthfulness towards ourselves and others is what many people strive for. People willingness to be fruitful and honest is viewed as a sign of virtue. The best example, this is cherry tree myth. In this story, a young George Washington confesses to having chopped down his father's cherry tree rather than lie about it. Whether this event happened has been debated by historians, but it serves as an example of how we value honesty as a display of great person. Truth and lies are the driving force behind some of the great narratives. Every form of art and entertainment, from paintings to movies, have portrayed these elements of human condition. Today is also commemorated as Twinval Day in July 7th in Isle of Man, observed on July, unless the date falls on Saturday or Sunday, it falls on weekend. And Twinval Day will be observed on the following Monday. The members of Twinval, the Isle of Man's legislature, proceed to Twinval Hill after a religious ceremony. After these proceedings, the members will return to the Royal Chapel where a formal sitting of Twinval takes place. This meeting dates back to 10th century and is known as a Midsummer Court. The promulgation of the acts taken place on Twinval Day and the promulgation is certified at the sitting of Twinval in the village of St. John's. A petition for redress may be presented by anyone who approaches Twinval Hill. The petitions can be taken up by members and put to Parliament. Today is also commemorated as World Chocolate Day. Some like it dark and bitter, others smooth and sweet, but no matter what your flavor preference is, this chocolate day on July 7th, join us in taking bite the cocoa bean, which is responsible for that unmistakably rich flavor we know and love so well, is a native to Mexico as well as South and Central America, but has been transplanted in the US and some European countries to match the high consumer demand for this delicacy. Whether it's used to coat other candles and nuts melted over it, fruit, or shaven over a gourmet dessert, chocolate always hits the spot. Around 1 billion people from around the world eat chocolates every day. Besides its great taste, it has tons of health benefits. All the chocolates are recognized as fattening, amazing. They could also aid weight loss and help maintain weight if consumed moderately. Besides, it's Valentine's week and chocolates in the food of love. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in today's commemoration. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same journey. Link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night. Before leaving, we request you all to fill the feedback form which has been raised in the form of polls.